there, it's Julia Gentry, and today you're probably wondering, why does she look so pretty? Did she get dressed? I did. I figured I have an 8-week-old, and I probably should start showering and doing my hair again. And today we're actually talking about something that's not like the easiest to talk about, so I figured I'd get dressed, do my hair, even wear some different earrings. I don't know, change it up a little bit. So here we are today. What are we talking about? We are talking about limiting beliefs. And if I'm honest, it's the reason that I wrote this book. The reason that I wrote this book is not because I'm living the dream. Though I will admit, 10 years ago, the dreams that I had are my life today. I won't hide that fact. But that's not why I wrote this book. And for many people who read it, they're like, that's not the dreaming book I was thinking that it was. The reason that I wrote this book was because of how hard the process was. Like, nobody tells you about how hard it really is. And I actually put the process of what this looked like in a book form to give somebody else out there who needed some real tactical steps to take to walk from pain and to give it some semblance of direction, right? And so the reason that I really wrote this book was to address the hard and to help the person who didn't want to be motivated or wanted just a feel-good book, or you can achieve anything. Yes, that's possible, but there's also this whole process of addressing the things that I don't want to address, limiting beliefs being one of them. So we're going to dive into there today. We're going to dive straight into limiting beliefs. So here's basically what a belief is, first and foremost, because there's a difference between thoughts and beliefs, right? Thoughts are fleeting, they come and go. We have millions of them every single day, right? Many of which are unconscious, a lot of which are very conscious. But there's a difference between the thought, right? We have thoughts, and another where we almost like become our thoughts. And those are what I call a belief, right? So if I have a thought, that's one thing. Oh, that's interesting. There's a blue sky, or oh, I like that dress, or right, like I have these thoughts. It's when I become my thoughts that they actually turn into a belief. They're like supercharged thoughts. Beliefs are also my ability as a human to compartmentalize the world, right? So if I see things or I see a habit of trends, I start to actually create some belief systems. And then what the brain does at an elementary level to support me is it says, well, let's put that on autopilot so we don't have to think about it over and over and over again, because that's going to take too much energy. And let's just kind of create a path in the brain that just says that's the way that it is. So from finances to God, to marriage, to sex, to money, we have these, just shortcuts that the brain has created that actually shapes our narrative and becomes our beliefs. And then, like it or not, we live from our belief systems. We actually aren't living based upon circumstances, though many of you are like, that's not true. Yes, it is. And hang with me on this, because we're not actually living from circumstances, we're living from our belief systems. So a lot of times people ask me, well, what's the number one thing that keeps people from living their dreams? And they'll kind of insert, right? They ask the question, but they feel like they already know the answer. They're like, it's me, is that I'm my own worst enemy. And I would like to tell you that the notion of that is incorrect. You are not your own worst enemy. The economy is not your own worst enemy. Your past is not your own worst enemy, right? None of those things are your enemy in the path to pursuing your dreams. What we need to be looking at is our beliefs. What we need to be doing is actually understanding our core belief systems around something, because that is where the magic happens, and that is where we can actually break free so we can see that anything is possible. Okay, so if we start to unpack this just a little bit, most of us will approach this already blaming something or someone on the fact that we don't have what we want. Okay, so I want you to, for a couple minutes, think about 3 things that you would honestly say you're either currently dreaming about, you really want, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be possible, or have been shattered dreams that you just kind of put to the wayside now. 3 of them. Ready, go. Da, na, 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 na. Jeopardy. Remember Jeopardy? Okay, great. Now I want you to be honest, and I want you to write down next to it. Nobody's gonna know. I'm not gonna tell anybody. Like, what's keeping you from achieving those 3 things? Fast. Knee-jerk reaction. The economy. I don't have any money. My mom. My past. Me. Even though I told you that's not going to be the answer. Write it down. Da, na, 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 na. That's so obnoxious. But quiet is really awkward too. Okay, now that was distracting enough. Most of us, if we're honest, we would say something like, I'm not buying the dream house because of the economy. I'm not writing my book because my husband says. I'm not losing the weight because blank. Here's what I want to invite you into today. I want to invite you into taking your reins, your hands off the reins. Let me put my words together. Take your hands off the reins of circumstances, and let's dig a little bit deeper, because what I'd like to propose to you today is that it's not the economy or your mom or your past. Though all of these things might be huge obstacles, they might be reality, they might be fact, it doesn't mean they're truth. Because how many of you know just because it's a fact doesn't mean it's true? So what we want to look at is, now let's say that it's not the economy, it's not your mom, it's not your past. It's your belief system about the economy. It's your belief system about your past. It's the belief system that you have about you. And when we really start to unpack this, what we start to find is that we'll hear ourselves say things like, no, what the truth is, I believe that there will never be enough. It's not just the economy, it's never been enough, even in a good economy. What I believe about myself is that I am a failure. So it's not that my mom said I was a failure, it's that I actually believe I am. It's not just about the weight, it's about this whole thing that says I can't have what I want. And so we hide behind the belief, blaming it on somebody else, never taking responsibility of what the belief actually is, so we can never fully change it. This is what we're talking about today. So you go, well, how do I identify what my limiting beliefs are? One of 2 things. 1, buy this book. I'm not joking around. If you really want to identify what your limiting belief is, buy this book. Second thing is, I would just simply sit back and go, okay, for the sake of the exercise, what do I believe is stopping me from my dreams? Put it out on paper, like write it down, the circumstantial, factual thing, and then go, okay, if it wasn't that, what is my actual belief about this thing? And get real with yourself. Is it fear? Is it shame? Is it guilt? Is it not enoughness? Is it pride? Is it scarcity? What is it? But there is something underneath it, and that is what we want to attack. Here's what's going to also be interesting is that once you identify what this thing is that's keeping you, it's a really slippery slope, because at some level, this lie protected you. It compartmentalized it, right? So when we're creating our beliefs early on, which I talk about in the book, it is at an age where there's the cause and effect part of our brain that's going on. And so when we are hurt, we want to understand why, that there's pain, and then we want to make sure it doesn't happen again. And so at an unconscious level, we're piecing things together like, oh man, if I fail, my mom calls me a failure, that must mean I am a failure, so don't fail. All at an unconscious level. Like, you go back to your early years and you'll start to see trends. That's when you know it's a limiting belief, is that it's not just a belief that you've had today. It's when you go, what's the economy? Well, maybe it's that there's never enough. And then maybe it's because when I was a kid, in my early teens, in my 20s, in my 30s, I actually have many moments in my life that would prove this thing to be true. now you're onto something. And the interesting thing about the process of starting to break through this thing is that it did serve you back then because it helped you compartmentalize the pain. That's the trouble with these limiting beliefs. Nobody wants to be called a failure. Nobody wants to live in a world of scarcity. Nobody wants to be told that they're not enough. And so when it happens and when pain strikes, we immediately put together some semblance of a formula so it doesn't happen again. Why? To protect ourselves. But how many of us know that in order to go where we've never gone, we probably can't protect ourselves? Now, there's this line that really struck me that I said. Sometimes I even forget. My husband's like, why don't you just read your book? I'm like, very funny. He says, I said, here's something important to realize before you begin. A limiting belief will never, ever, ever serve you in where you want to go. However, it may have protected you in getting you to where you are, seeming to have a specific purpose in your life. This is also known as a stronghold. A stronghold is something that we feel the need to protect. It's something we believe needs to be defended. In layman's terms, if I have a belief about something and I believe it to be true, I'm going to defend it, whether it's true or not. This is why these things become so powerful in our life and ultimately keep us from what we want. It's not the things around us, though these things are hard. It's called life. Welcome to being human. They're hard, believe me. When we can actually go to a deeper level, that I'm actually uprooting belief systems that don't serve me and though might have protected me to compartmentalize and protect me from the pain, it's actually not going to let me thrive and live in abundant space moving forward. Now, what is this video about? It's not to digest this whole entire book and to tell you how to live free and how to get past it and how to do all things. It's to help you identify that you are not the thing that's stopping you. The economy is not the thing that's stopping you. Your mom is not the thing that's stopping you. Your past is not the thing that's stopping you. Not enough money in the bank is not the thing that's stopping you. It's the belief that you hold to be true that's no longer serving you that is stopping you. And what I want to give you today is an invitation to a greater awareness of what that belief is so you can continue the journey to unpack that thing and begin to live free from that thing. Do you see why I wore the earrings today? I know. So be encouraged today. It's not the thing, it's the thing under the thing. Take the pressure off of what's going on around you. Dig deeper to identify what's going on within you. And minute by minute, moment by moment, allow yourself to break a little so you can heal a lotta, so you can be free the way that you were created to actually live. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want videos that are going to encourage you, challenge you, and support you in going from where you are to where you've never been, and know that what got you to where you are surely